All right, we are so excited to have Joel Fendelman in. Oh, not in the studio, but on the line.
You know,
Usually we have people here in the studio, but this time we've got him on the line. We've got Joel on the line. He is an incredible director. I gotta say, I absolutely loved your film North Putnam. I liked it so much, I went and watched Man on Fire immediately.
really.
Um, it's just absolutely brilliant. These two films, and I absolutely loved your approach. And that's the first thing I just kind of want to ask you about is, you got involved with this group called the Castle, and Dave Eggers got involved. I mean, how did you get connected to this project, and how did you get connected to these folks?
Yeah, well, I love that you watched Man on Fire because that was the entryway to it. So Beth Benedict's, who is a professor at DePauw University, which is in that same general geographic region, was screening Man on Fire, my previous documentary, to her class, her existentialism class. If you watch the film, you'll get it. And and she just pitched this idea, and she'd never made a film before, but she is very much runs this nonprofit called The Castle, which is all about supporting public schools and really giving props to ones that are doing it in a good way, which North Putnam is, and she wanted to show that and explore that. So that's where it started. She pitched the idea. I said, "Let's right. Let's raise some seed money if you can. We'll start going forward with it." And then it just started from there, and ended up being almost a 5 year process, as films do. But it started with an ask.
Fantastic. And that balance, I mean, it's amazing what you accomplish here. It reminded me a lot of another documentary that I absolutely love called Country Fair Texas, by Bradford Thomason and
Brett
Brett
Whitcomb.
Whitcomb,
Yeah.
yeah, who did kind of a similar thing to you, in that you come into this community that has these issues, these conflicts, that the polarization is the term we're
Hmm.
always using for this. And you come in, you're not from that community necessarily. You're coming in with a camera, and you really get these folks involved in this process. I mean, can you walk us through what that was like?
Yeah. So going to Indiana. Here, I'll take a step back. I grew up in Miami, lived a lot of my adult life in New York City. Now I live in Asheville, North Carolina. Still, all these places, not rural Indiana by far, and not flyover country in some sense. And that was sort of the term that, us elitist coastals would use in this way. So part of the interest for me in making this film was to open up that term beyond this binary of like it's somewhat derogatory, and like explore what is the culture of the Midwest, what are the people living there, what are the communities, how do they operate, and that just takes time for a bit. So part of it is Beth living there for 20 years, our other co-producer, sound mixer, composer from that town, multi-generational, and just going with an open heart, an open mind, and meeting people and really getting to see quite a rich dynamic culture of our country that exists and that has lots of love and lots of heart. And that was really eye-opening and heart-touching for me to see that.
Yourself into the school? How did you get to know the staff and the students? And I'm sure there's feet upon feet of footage, so to speak, to get to the edit. Tell me how that process worked. I mean, did they introduce you to the school? How did you get to know these folks that you were going to be following?
Yes, so it started with Superintendent Nicole Ali, who's in the film. And so one of the things that's really special about this school is they say yes to things. This corporation, they call it corporations, but it's public. It's just the terminology. So they say yes to things. They're a yes saying school. They're not afraid. They're into taking chances. And part of that was when a documentary team approached them and said, "Hey, we want to embed in your school for a year and capture what you do." They said yes. And there was a little bit of process talking to the school boards, pitching what we're doing. But in essence, they said, yeah, come in, have a la carte of whatever you want. Just come film, show up whenever you want, film. They obviously got release forms and all that thing, but they generally gave us open permission to come film. And that's where it started. We didn't know who we were going to film. We just started filming and seeing where, like, it was like walking down a hallway and saying, you know what, it feels kind of interesting. Let me stop in this classroom and see what goes from there. And then there was a little bit of questions with the administrator about maybe who might be interesting people to follow to explore different dynamics. And it kind of went from there. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple principals. There's Jason Chu, who's the high school principal, and there's Bucky Kramer, who's the middle school principal, who's a little more like outgoing.
Well, when he pulled out the Voltron to give a teaching
Yeah,
lesson.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, and I'm a film professor here at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and my wife is a public educator. She teaches here in the Birmingham city area, and man, you just captured beautifully the challenges of teachers and students and family and parents. It's just astonishing. I mean, again, you found these stories to tell, and you captured these moments. I was thinking of the boy who was bullied, and man, just to let things unfold before you. Was that kind of your process? Again, you said you would walk in and things like
Yeah,
that, but
from the beginning, I really thought this film needed to be an observational style film that was not breaking the fourth wall, but just letting things unfold. And the intimacy of that was what would take us along, the authenticity. And so that just, all these things just start happening, and we just film it. And by going there enough times, people, they're like, okay, there's the camera. It's not such a novelty after the first couple times.
Have you kept up with this group of folks? Have you been able to, like, have they seen the film? What was the reaction?
Yeah. We did a screening in the town at the school about almost a year ago, and we did a screening at a couple of nearby universities as well, sort of pre-screenings. They were somewhat private for the community. It was a fairly positive response. Everyone, yeah, and then Beth, who's still based out of that town and has the castle, the organization keeps in touch. It's things have shifted a bit. The Nicole, who's the superintendent, had stepped down, and yeah, as you watch the film, there's some tension built around her character and role, and that tension escalated further, and it became sort of hard for her to be in her position with the kind of toxicity was happening. And then I think the principal just took a different job, so things kind of shifting. I think the school is still good, but when I say this, I think, wow, how much the school, a great school or any organization, relies on the great people.
no, that is the truth of it. It's all about great administration and support. If you don't have that in the public school system, you're in trouble. I loved also the focus on the team teaching. I loved seeing those three teachers working together to teach math. That was, again, that's that yes approach, right?
Exactly.
I mean, to fund that alone, I mean, that's almost unbelievable in modern public systems that someone say, yeah, it's okay. We'll have three teachers in the classroom.
Yeah, well, it's two teachers, just
Or two,
teachers.
sorry.
Yeah.
But it's still amazing.
Yeah. I the it wasn't earlier in the film, it wasn't a central focus, but I was interested to see where it was going to go. But I think that it was kind of at the heart of it was that student teacher meeting about the transgender issue. And I wondered how much of that, it was interesting in that you do, when you get in these liberal bubbles, just, and I'm speaking personally, you do see how these rural towns are dealing with these issues. And I thought you did a very good job of like capturing that. Was there parts of it that continued where you could have added more to it, or was this just something that was just kind of permeating that particular school at the time? Can you talk more about how that was working, or how those kind of cultural issues flowed through as you observed throughout the year?
Yeah, and are you referring to the school board meeting or that more? Yeah, yeah. So the school board meeting, I mean, there was a bunch of contentious ones. One was around COVID, one was around other things. But that was, the one where it was kind of coded language a little bit. around like transphobia and these type of things. And I learned a lot in that space that was fascinating for me as an outsider coming in and having context and seeing what's actually happening. And there was a lot of tension, but it was based on smoke, which was fascinating to me. There wasn't really any policy. There was like nothing. It was just like changing a word in a policy. Like it was very minute that got blown up. And we hear the guy saying, I just, read this on Facebook, but I'm commenting. And that was really interesting to me to see that they're arguing about nothing. But yet, it was to see, so there's the school board authority figure, and then there's the town people, community people coming in. And my sense is that the authority figures, the school board, were just sort of like almost offended, or like, we're not even talking about it. So they sort of dismissed it to a degree. And the people felt dismissed. And so it's based on nothing, but there's tension built on nothing because one person is feeling offended because you're making a big deal, wasting our time, which they are, but you're also dismissing people who are feeling dismissed, and they're really reacting to the dismissal.
And he says that sort of in the beginning, the parent.
Yeah.
Like, just let me talk and listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. I love that was included.
Yeah, it's an important lesson.
Yeah.
I think for the audience as well.
Totally.
Trying to negotiate those conversations. Absolutely. So tell us where you're on your journey with this film. I mean, you're in the film festival circuit right now. I know with Man on Fire, you got to have that on PBS and have lots of great runs with that. What are your plans with this film?
Yeah, so we'll be premiering at the Sidewalk Film Festival, and then we have some other festivals that are lining up in the fall that I can't announce yet. And then it is available educationally through New Day Films. So as far as universities, community organizations, things like that can purchase the film, corporations through that distribution wing. And then we're quite open to seeing what the possibilities are. We would love to get it on more of a streamer or get it on video on demand. So these things are down the road, probably in the 225 window.
True, because I'm happy to see you have it open for educators, because I really do think it does open up, like you said, an honest opinion about the state of American education in 2024, 25. Like, I'm not an educator, but it was really interesting to see that. So I thought that did a brilliant job.
Did I see it's going to be part of the Southern Circuit?
Oh, yes. It's going to be part of it. Thank you for mentioning it. It'll be
that whole thing, that series where the filmmakers sometimes travel with the film, and it
Exactly.
really is all about discussion and engaging with that community, and then moving to
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be, a part of the Southern Circuit. It'll be screening in Florida in December, and then it's doing a Georgia and North Carolina circuit in April, about 10 cities.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a great opportunity.
Excellent.
So yeah, folks, we'd love for you to go see this. This is playing on Sunday, August 25th at 5 p.m.
in the cinema, which is
in
going to
the
be great.
Sidewalk Cinema, and we're so excited you're going to be here for it. We hope to see you there.
I hope there'll be like a Q&A.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be a Q&A with it. It's a great cinema, wonderful independent cinema. So I think you'll really enjoy having it screened.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you. Hopefully we'll get to see you in person.
Yeah, that would be great, Craig, Gareth. Really a pleasure as well.
Thanks so much.
Thanks again.